What's up, y'all? It's the MMA Analyst here to do a video. Actually, it's gonna be the first video of a segment I've come up with called the Fedor Report. And we're just gonna talk Fedor and all things Fedor. I know it's kind of getting out of control. That's why I figured we might need someone to take all the news and kind of put it together. You know what I mean? So now what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna put this on. It's gonna be like sponsored by MMA Talk.tv, and that's going to be a place where I'm sure you've seen the other videos. I'm always the last one to do a video just because them dudes are quick. You know what I mean? They get stuff done right away, and they're on point. You know what I mean? I don't want to say I'm not on point. I'm just saying they're on point. Anyway, oh damn, I gotta. Anyways, y'all, MMA Talk.tv. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a lot of all the different or many of the different YouTube MMA community guys. They'll be there. The names, we've got the MMA professor. We got Chase fan, UFC fan. Who else we got? I'm looking at this thing right now. We got Osborne and McCarty. I don't even know. Did they say they got this out? I don't want to be letting stuff out too early. We got Sexy MMA Talk. That's that Shanna. She be cutting up her shirt and stuff like free. I'm assuming it's free. I don't think she when you're pretty and stuff, you don't really have to pay for stuff. You know what I mean? Like I gotta pay for stuff. You know what I mean? Like I got my shirt here, I gotta pay for that. But if I was a good-looking girl, I can get it for free. You know what I mean? But she got the walk-in T-shirts and cut them all up. Snippity snip snip snip. You know what I mean? Damn, you know what I mean? You could have sent it to me. I could have worn it. I don't know if I would have, though, but I could have. Anyways, it's going to have all the different stuff from all the different talks, from all the different guys and females and whatever, at least many of them, maybe a couple of them. And it's going to put them all on one site, and there's going to be exclusive content there, and there's going to be prizes and game like contests and whatever. I guess that's together, the prizes and the contests. Anyways, y'all, MMA Talk.tv. It's going to be nice. I think it's going to be nice. I'm pretty sure, from what I see. The dude that runs it's on point, he's another one of them on point dudes handling business. So, anyways, here it is, the Fedor Report. Let's get right into it. Now, over the last little bit, we've seen a lot of stuff. We saw Josh Barnett, fail. How can you fail peeing into a cup? You know what I mean? You got to pee into a cup. That's all you got to do. And he failed that test for his third time. So he failed peeing into a cup. You know what I mean? Splashed over the edges, whatever. Affliction died as a promotional company. They said they're gonna put something on later, but they ain't gonna do it. R.I.P. Affliction. Y'all did your best. You brought me Fedor. I got to see him live. I got to stand right beside him on the ring. You know what I mean? I got my picture. I seen it. The experience was great. R.I.P. And y'all are back in the UFC on the shirts, so good for the fighters. But Affliction gone. Barnett failed the P test, and now Fedor was like, oh, we gotta find somebody for Fedor. Fedor is kind of looked like he was a free agent, but let's start off with the bat. Fedor is not really a free agent. He has 3 fights left on his M1 contract. Now, what does that really mean? Fedor is like part owner of M1, so he's kind of like contractually obligated to a company that he owns. I'm just saying, if you're ever not going to get screwed, it's going to be by a company you own. Because you're not going to screw yourself, you know what I mean? They got a name for that. Screwing yourself? Anyways. So he's still got 3 fights left in that, but that allows him, see, in that contract, he's still able to sign with other people, you know what I mean? It's really just a front, you know what I mean? It's just really a way to point at that dude, you know what I mean? Like, it's not me, it's them. It's not me, you know what I mean? Like, for example, if I wanted to come on here and say a whole bunch of foolishness, if I wanted to be like, F so-and-so and F all that, and I found out all types of craziness, but I'm just saying, it's him. It wasn't me I'm just saying, that's him. That's what I could do. I'd be like, or it's like reporting, we're going to talk about this later, reporting stories that aren't really true. But then you can just quote a source that you can't reveal because you got the integrity of a writer, but it only really plays when it comes to protecting sources, you know what I mean? So anyways, Fedor Emelianenko, we'll get to that in a second. Fedor Emelianenko, he was a free agent, but really contractually obligated to M1 for 3 more fights. But he was still able to go negotiate with Strikeforce, which he's been doing, and of course the UFC. Now, we're not really going to talk too much about who he could fight in the UFC or who he could fight outside of the UFC, but let's just, let's be real. The most amount of good or could be good or challenges for Fedor exist in the UFC. Now, outside of the UFC, some over here, some sprinkled over there, sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. There are some guys that he could fight. He could fight Overeem. He could fight, you know, because Barnett's off that damn list. So he can fight Verdun, you know what I mean? He can maybe fight Brett Rogers, but see what I'm saying? That list is thin. And then inside the UFC is where you have the guys that people think, oh man, he might be able to touch Fedor. You've got big ass Brock Lesnar, you've got Frank Mir. Everybody would like to see a fight like that. Randy Couture, which I'm just saying it is a fight for him. Then you've got the up and comers, Cain Velasquez, Shane Carwin, Dos Santos, Junior Dos Santos. So in the UFC is, that's where the real challenges lie for Fedor if he wants real challenges and consistent challenges in the future. So he did his thing. He came to the United States of America. It was supposed to be the fight, but now he ended up trying to do his negotiations. He goes into the negotiating room. We've got Fedor. We've got his manager, Vadim Finkelstein. We've got his lawyer. I don't know his name, but let's just say lawyer dude. And then we've got, some other guys, some lawyers from Zuffa. We've got Dana White on the phone because he's in the UK. And I think, one of the Fertitta brothers was also with Dana White in the UK or Europe. Anyways, they do the negotiations, and before we really hear what happens, I'm not gonna really say the dude's name. Everybody knows who it is, and if they don't, then you can look online. You probably read the story. But some reporter, he gets a leak. Somebody says, "Yo, look. Fedor's was offered $30 million a fight. $30 million. Sorry, my bad. $30 million contract guaranteed over 6 fights. That's $5 million a fight." And he turned it down. And I said, "Oh snap, that can't be true." Right off the bat, I said that can't be true. First of all, let's talk about $30 million. $30 million? $30 million? You know what I mean? That's like 1 million times 30. You know what I mean? That's like 30 million times 1. Anytime you can times something by 1 and it still be 30 million, that's good money. That's baseball money. This is sport changing money. This is, it ain't like Shaq money, but it's definitely basketball money. It ain't, it ain't like Kobe money, but it's basketball money. They say we're going to pay you 6 fights. So 6 fights is probably 3 years maximum. So we say over the next 3 years, we're going to give you $30 million. That's $10 million a year. That's real sport money. That's that crossover real sport big dog pitbull style money. And I said right off the bat, that ain't true. Right off the bat. Let's say Fedor comes to the UFC. Fedor automatically makes 10 times more than their highest paid dude. That's Brock Lesnar and $500,000 per fight. What's homeboy's name? Chuck Liddell. Now, let's say Brock Lesnar comes in the UFC, or comes in and the championship is there. He's supposed to get automatic title match. So Fedor, first things first, we're gonna give you $5 million a fight. Second thing, you're gonna get automatic title shot. We knew that, so that's no big deal. We're gonna get automatic title shot. You're the big dog. You don't need to practice on Eddie Sanchez or nothing like that. So Brock Lesnar comes in there. He only making $500,000 a fight, and we know that he is a pay-per-view guy. If Brock Lesnar is on the pay-per-view, you know it's going down. So let's say Brock Lesnar goes out there and whoops on Fedor. You know what I mean? Let's say Fedor come out, tries 75 punch combo, but Brock takes him down, gets side control. He's been mounted before, takedown. He's been taken down before, so not to say Brock couldn't do it. Let's just pretend Brock does that. Let's just pretend that Brock, the biggest dude in MMA outside of super heavyweight, let's say he does what, middleweight Matt Lindland has done in the past. Let's say he takes down Fedor. Let's say he holds him down. Let's say he gets him in a position on side mount. Mark Hunt did that. So to think Fedor might not be able to put dude in side mount, you know what I mean? So let's say he beats him. I don't think it would happen, but let's say he beat him. Now, what do you think the implications are for Brock Lesnar beating the $5 million man the next time Brock Lesnar wants to renegotiate his contract? What happens then? Do you think Brock Lesnar says, yo, give me $600,000 a fight? No. He goes, yo, that dude is getting paid $5 million a fight. I'm getting paid 1/10 of that. I'm the champ and I beat him. I want y'all to give me at least $2 million a fight. And I know Dana is not ready to start paying multiple people millions of dollars a fight. I know that. The sport is growing, and they make about $30 million net per event. But I know they're not ready to start dishing out $3 million to this dude and $2 million to that dude. And George St. Pierre's like, I'm this dude. I'm young. They all know me in Canada. I want $1 million a fight. This dude's getting $1 million, and this dude's getting 900,000. And we got Anderson Silva. He's like, I refuse to fight. I'm gonna go box Roy Jones. They're gonna give me millions. Anyways, they say, look, we want you to stay. We'll give you 2.5 million a fight. Y'all know Dana ain't doing that. That's bad business. All right, Dana might do a lot of dumbass stuff. He might talk stupid. He might look stupid sometimes. He might sound stupid sometimes, but he never does stupid business. And when I say never, I mean most of the damn time. So having your cap right now be about 500,000, and then you go and grab a dude who hasn't proven that he's actually gonna make that money back for you, and you go, Fedor, we're gonna give you 10 times that, not gonna happen. So as soon as we just talk about the leak, the information, because it was on it was on websites that weren't even MMA sites. They were like, some Russian dude didn't want to fight in the UFC, and they offered him $30 million, and he said no. Like, they didn't even know about the sport. They were just like, this guy's an effing retard. He turned down $5 million a fight. So anyways, I said that ain't true. That's impossible. Dana's not doing that. If you want to just try and make sense of something, try and make dollars or something. And then you'll know if it makes sense. And it didn't make dollars to me. So it didn't make sense. Then you found out after the firestorm swept across MMA, after the landscape got torched, then, Finkelstein came out and was like, that's ridiculous, that didn't happen. Fedor's like, that didn't happen. And even Dana isn't saying that did happen. He just keeps saying, we offered him more than anybody else is going to offer him, which makes sense. And even they've admitted it in the past. M1 has admitted, even the first time they tried to sign him, that they were offering more than anybody else. That the UFC was offering them more than anybody else. So, the whole thing though, who cares really when it comes down to it? When it comes down to it, the reason, and this is the issue I have, we got the $30 million, or maybe it's $2 million a fight. Maybe it's $1 million a fight. That's still more. Maybe it's $500,000 a fight. Maybe it's $600,000 a fight. That's not the point here, because that's not why Fedor's not in the UFC. Fedor didn't say, I'm not in the UFC because you're not offering me enough. Even if he did say, here is $30 million over 6 fights. Here's $5 million. Even if he did say that, M1 didn't say we're not signing because of the money. That's what a lot of people are focusing on. They said, we're not signing because you won't co-promote. And that is where I, as well as a lot of other dudes, have an issue. Now, if you've watched my videos before, a lot of you have, because I don't know if I get new fans or new people who watch or new people who listen. It seems like I got the same, no, I'm just playing, but if you watch my videos, you know that Fedor is my dude, okay? You know it. You know that I got, You know, I put the little Fedor video together. It's got like 60,000 views, and I always defend Fedor, and I will never say anything against Fedor because really he hasn't really done anything except for whoop ass and shut the F up. So what is there really to say? You've been fighting for 9 years, and all you do is whoop ass and STFU. I can't hate. I can only say, you know, I'm a fan. I'm going to pay my money and see you every time you fight and hope that you keep this streak that doesn't exist outside of you in MMA going. You know, you get unlucky, but you never lose. Sometimes you get slammed on your head, but you still win. Sometimes you get knocked out on your feet, you still win. Where other people get caught in, you know, scissor heel hooks, or they got knocked out from getting punched in the back of the ear by little short dudes with little teeny arms, or, you know, they get submitted, or they lose a decision. Fedor don't make those kind of mistakes. He'll make a mistake, but he don't lose. So I recognize that over all the 9 years, even against some of the cans that he fought, he still doesn't lose. And I respect that. And he's quiet about it. And he's not human. But anyways, the point is, y'all know I'm a big Fedor fan. And this is some foolishness, alright? This is like, and somebody said this to me, my boy, I don't really know his real name because he's just, you know, like, I'm kind of like Dolavai or the MMA Analyst, and he's like Kyokushin MMA or something like that. My boy was like, you know, M1 presents. M1 and the NBA present the NBA Finals, or M1 and Steven Spielberg present, you know, the next big movie, or M1 and so-and-so. It's like, they don't need your help. You know what I mean? M1, the UFC does not need your help. They don't need you to pitch in. You know what I mean? They got money saved up from all the hard years, from all the times when, you know, when things were going real bad and they had to find their way out, start some stupid ass TV show and all that time. So, you know, they don't need your help. They got their own money. You understand? And for you to say the reason we're not going to sign, the reason Fedor's not going to sign is because you don't want to co-promote, that makes no sense. You know, well, we're going to pay, you know, we're going to split the... Y'all have been splitting the cost for years. You split the cost with Affliction, and Affliction's dead. You split the cost with Bodog, and Bodog's dead. Yeah, we know you have the money. We know that, M1. We recognize that somehow y'all Russians have some money. And I don't mean Russians as a bad way. I'm just saying that that's where they're from. We know you have money. And we recognize that you are willing to put the money out there. But, you know what I mean? Does Pepsi need you guys to drop a few million on them to help them out? No. You know what I mean? Does Hallmark need y'all to help them make birthday cards? You know, like we're gonna try and help out, you know, McDonald's and help them make burgers. They don't need your help making burgers, man. They're doing fine by themselves. The UFC does not need your pitching money. All right? So for you to say you want to sign Fedor, then you gotta throw M1 all over the place so that we can, for the rest of M1's existence, say, you know, the UFC and M1, we partnered up. Look what we did. The UFC and M1 present UFC 110. What the F kind of foolishness would that be? So my issue with all of this is not who's Fedor going to fight outside of the UFC. It's not who's he going to fight in the UFC. That's probably loud as hell. I apologize. It's not, you know, how much is he making? How much did he turn down? Are the rumors true? That's not what it is. It all comes down to this co-promotion foolishness. Strikeforce might co-promote because, you know, they could use a little bit of money, you know, from somebody else, and they could use Fedor. So why not? You know, they say, you know what, we're not the UFC. We are still profitable, but somebody like Fedor will, you know, help our profit even more. Let's co-promote. Yeah, they're going to do that, but the UFC doesn't need your money. So now we got a backlash. We got people pissed off at M1. I am one of them. Now, I understand. that what Dana says and what the UFC says doesn't mean that it's true just because they said it. You know, you've got Fedor and M1 over here, and you've got Dana and Zuffa over here. Now, Dana always talks stupid stuff, and he always goes crazy and rants and acts like a complete immature fool. He always does that. But that's not what this is about. You know what I mean? Like, M1 is saying that that's not really what all that glitters isn't gold, right? They say, yeah, they offered us money, but the guaranteed money is not even more than the guaranteed money we had in the past. But they didn't say that's not why they didn't sign. You know what I mean? M1 said, you know, we're down for 2-3 fights. And the UFC was willing to do that. So they would have signed from that. The money, although the reports are saying it's much more, Dana's saying it was a lot. And M1 saying they recognize that it was a very nice deal, but not what's been reported. But that's not why they didn't sign. Fedor's got people to fight in the UFC, people to fight outside of the UFC. He's not saying, I want to fight the best, or I don't want to fight the best. Like, that's what Dana says. Yo, he doesn't want to effing fight the best. If you don't want to fight the best, then F y'all. Like, I understand where that's coming from. But that's not why he didn't sign. He didn't say, I'm not signing in the UFC because I don't want to fight Brock. Or because, you know, I do want to fight, I don't know, Kimbo if he doesn't stay in the UFC. I'm just saying somebody that's not a top tier UFC heavyweight. He's not saying that. You know what I mean? He's saying, I'm not signing if we don't co-promote. And really, that's what this is all about. Co-promotion madness. Straight craziness. It is absolutely crazy that that's what this all came down to. And I know in the past, you know, people threw it back in my face. I was like, well, I was kind of waiting. When's somebody going to bring this up? I came on here and I said, Lyoto Machida will never get a title shot. You know, he will never get a title shot. And then the stars aligned and this guy got injured and this guy got killed and this dude's baby got hurt and he had to go to the hospital and this dude over here broke his toe and everything lined up. You know, this guy got signed to the MLB and this dude over here just got a brand new scooter and everything lined up and all of a sudden somehow, you know, the full moon's out and Lyoto Machida's got a title shot. So yeah, of course, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. Hell, I could be the heavyweight champion. Heck, I could be the 155 champion. Anything can happen because it's not impossible, but it's highly improbable. It's highly unlikely that I will ever be a champion, hell, in any weight class in MMA. And it is very highly unlikely that Fedor will ever be in the UFC. So this whole Fedor report, in the future, it's going to be shorter, I hope. But it's going to be about Fedor and his ass not being in the UFC. Because that's not where he's going to be. Unless everything pop, and then all of a sudden something happens. Do I think Fedor is afraid to fight the best? That's just some stupid stuff, man. That's retarded. You know what I mean? When he fought Andrei Arlovski was on a 3-fight winning streak. A lot of these dudes that claim to be MMA fans, you know, they don't even recognize when Andrei Arlovski fought Fedor, Andrei Arlovski wasn't coming off losses. I understand Tim Sylvia was coming off some losses. And Tim Sylvia's hands are terrible. And Fedor didn't respect his hands. And that's what he does every time he doesn't respect somebody's hands. He walks up and punches him 95 times in a row and then taps him out or makes him tap from strikes. But Andrei Arlovski, this dude was training with Freddie Roach, boxing extraordinaire coach. High reproach. Alright? So he was doing that. He was on a 3-fight winning streak. He was knocking people out with his own knees, fast hands, strong, all that stuff. And Fedor came out and was like, I'm going to do all types of craziness. I'm going to throw weird stuff because this dude's fast. And then Andrei Arlovski made a mistake. Bow, knocked him out. That's what champions do. That's what Fedor does. Was he afraid to fight Andrei Arlovski? Did he need Andrei Arlovski to lose a fight before he fought him? Absolutely not. If Fedor is not afraid to fight, you know, anybody in the history, what's he afraid of now? You know what I mean? Is he afraid to fight Brock? Absolutely not. Do I think he would pummel Brock? Absolutely. Is it about that? No. It's about this whack-ass co-promotion. Do I want to see Fedor in the UFC? Absolutely. I would love to see it. I would love to see him come to the UFC and whoop on some dudes. Heck, I don't really want to get into what happens if he lost to Brock Lesnar or something like that, or 5-0 Cain Velasquez. I don't even want to get into that. That would be devastating to me. But regardless, I want to see him in the UFC because the majority of top heavyweights are in the UFC. I'm not really interested in seeing him fight, Brett Rogers until Brett Rogers can show that he's a top heavyweight. So now he's not going to be in the UFC. What's up for Fedor? Hopefully he fights in Strikeforce. Since he's not going to be in the UFC, I do not want to see Fedor in Japan except for on New Year's. On New Year's, he's got the freak pass. He can fight any freak that he wants. He can go fight Andre the Giant's ghost. He can go fight, freaking Free Willy dude. He can fight the Whale. I don't care what he does on New Year's, even Japan. They need ratings. Fedor brings ratings. Set it up. But for the rest of the year, I want to see him fighting somebody of some type of skill. I want to see him fighting Overeem in Strikeforce. Then I want to see him fight Verdum in Strikeforce. Then in the meantime, if homeboy Brett Rogers is whooping on people and he's still undefeated, knocking people out with a quickness, fine. I want to see him fight Rogers. Then 3 fights are up, and then we'll see. Is he going to re-sign with the company that he owns? Well, most likely. Are they going to still do this co-promotion thing? Who knows? But of course, anything can happen. But do I think we'll see Fedor in the UFC? No, never. It's not going to happen, y'all. Ever. Never. Ever.